I imagine some people think I'm obsessed. I would say I am the appropriate level of interested. I'd say everyone else isn't interested enough. So I went to a vinyl cutting class, so you could cut your own records, and in it they talked about Bones music, which is when it was the USSR, people used to smuggle records into Russia, and they would cut bootleg copies onto X-rays, because the acetate functions in the same way as the vinyl. So I'm in this class, could we do that? And he was like, yeah, go on then. And I was like, oh, my dad recently broke his pelvis. I got the MRI scans of this, 30 of them, and then cut this super weird tune called Rivers of Ice Cream into it, and I sold these. You can only play them a few times, but that is an X-ray of my dad's pelvis, but you can see my dad's ball bag. Our Records, the Dave Sneva album, which is the first ever album. Thought it was funny to Photoshop me and Dave onto Bernadine Dawn's head. That I made for Joey D's, the algorithm Smiles Upon You. Then you got Automated Improvisation, third one, which is Grains, which just came out. That's the first actual release, Move 78 ever did. And so in 2016, like late 2016 after Brexit, I moved to Berlin. Mostly moved here to practice, basically. I just wanted to get really good. Manchester, in combination with me, it stagnated in a way that I didn't really like. I made this little rule that I wouldn't go out partying or socialising or whatever unless I did 35 or 40 hours a week. In 2017, my sister went on one date on Tinder and met Nir, the drummer in the band.
And when we started dating, she told me that Joe, her brother, is also a music producer, and he's also into jazz. And she's like, you guys should meet each other. And then, I recorded drums for one of his tracks. For me, it was a new experience as well to play drums to a track that was not recorded by live musicians, just like a hip-hop production and then live drums. Also, through me, Joe met Doron, our keyboard player, because Doron is a really good friend of mine. Like, when Joe, Doron, and me kind of first got together, we used to go to this pasta shop in Weissensee in Berlin. Joe and Doron are crazy about it. I think Joe was just looking for an excuse to have the pasta. He's like, oh yeah, let's meet at Doron's place and listen to music and talk about music, but really he just wanted to go and have the pasta. I really like to explore, and I think that's kind of like something that quite strong in my character as a musician, and I think that kind of contributed in the ways of how we create music, but also our sound and things that we kind of like try to explore and understand different methods of creating music or different methods of recording. And they also started doing stuff together, and at some point we were like, okay, let's just do something, all three of us, and also maybe find a bass player, make it into a full like live band.
Like, I feel like a lot of what people say is kind of just filling up space anyway, or just like irrelevant.
And the thing he wrote in its own, I contemplated just putting that as the poem. It was so beautiful and so poetic about how musicians are magicians and sound wave manipulators.
Dance floor facilitators, sonic storytellers, space creators, time travelers, telepathic communicators. Music is meditation, can make time disappear, provides faith for the faithless, a direct link to the creator. Yeah, I don't need to, I prefer listening, I think.
Quite a few years ago already, I met first Nir and Doron through a common friend, and through them I met, of course, slowly Chloe and Joe. I remember him being like quite like excited, like saying, hey, you know, I would really love to record the horn sometime, maybe for a couple of tunes, try things out. And I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And I was like really into it. But then I didn't hear from the guy for like a couple of years. I was like,
then in the pandemic, Doron had suggested, we should go and record Marav Goldman. She's the sick front horn player. And yeah, just to listen to her play. And I remember at that point being like, yeah, you have to be in the band. Like, I just want that so badly. DeepMind had created this algorithm called AlphaGo to play this ancient Chinese board game called Go. And in the documentary, and then they pit AlphaGo against the world's greatest Go player, this dude called Lee Sedol. In the second game, I think AlphaGo plays a move. Basically, it seems so weird that everyone kind of thinks the computer broke or like it did something by mistake, but actually it played a move that was so original that everyone didn't understand how it worked. They realized that it was more advanced than Lee Sedol. So he's already lost the match, 5-game series. And at some point he plays this move and like everyone is like kind of aghast. The algorithm just short-circuited. Some people refer to it as like the God move, and this is move 78 basically. He learned from the way that AlphaGo was playing, he adapted his style so much so that the pre-existing set of data that the algorithm was based upon didn't work. But yeah, so anyway, I watched the documentary and I'm kind of started working with Doron and Nir at this point, and I'm like, wouldn't it be sick if you called a band Move 78, where I would play the musicians all these weird little computerized things, and then they can learn from it, and we can like let it, you know, cascade together and try and let the process kind of inform itself and let the process be the purpose in that way. Like we don't have a set goal or a fixed song or the way we want it to finish.
I've lived alongside Joe obviously most of my life, and shared a bedroom wall with him for a very long time, and you know, heard him making music for a really long time, and seen him develop massively. Move 78 is kind of a culmination of both where he's come from musically and where he wants to go, and that the band has been able to kind of facilitate a lot of his vision and a lot of the kind of intellectual ideas he has behind his music.
I don't always want to stick out or be the loudest person in the room. I just want to be part of something that is bigger than me.
Like what creates our sound in some way, that we use things that some people won't, and trying to really, I think, glorify mistakes.
Them, the guys pushing me to really go for it, explore. In rehearsals, in live, they were like really, like, you know, just don't think about it, just go for it.
And I think that a lot of jazz is like everyone is a soloist and everyone's really special and everyone's got all this shit to show off. And in a band, I don't really want it to be like that. Another one, like probably my favorite piece of art ever, I think, is Introducing by DJ Shadow. In the documentary Scratch by Doug Prey, which came out in 2001, they interview Shadow in a basement below this record shop. Yeah, his philosophy of music is really beautiful.
Just being in here is a humbling experience to me, because you're looking through all these records and it's sort of like a big pile of broken dreams. And if you're a DJ and putting out, you know, releases, whether it's mixtapes or whatever, you're sort of adding to this pile, whether you want to admit it or not. You know what I mean? 10 years down the line, you'll be in here. So keep that in mind when you start thinking like, oh yeah, I'm invincible and I'm the world's best.
That he takes those broken dreams and then turns them into something new, which I just thought was like a very, he doesn't say that, but it's implied. And yeah, it's just a very beautiful way of approaching like memory and I guess like the shards of culture that people don't really give a shit about, and yeah, giving it new life and breathing colour into like ghostly forms. I got my first set of turntables when I was like 17. Yeah. Got into like beat juggling and scratching, and then my mate Chalk showed me how to chop a drum break up into all the little pieces and then rearrange them. And I remember at that point I was like, oh cool, I don't give a shit about DJing anymore. I'm just gonna sit and stare at this computer and like rearrange all these sounds. I was always late for everything after that. And I remember having a thought actually when I was like 18 that I'll be shit now, but like in like 6 years time I'll be good. I've been making music for quite like 6 years at this point. Me and my mate Dave, who ran a rap named Dace, we'd started working together. And I remember like, oh, I heard him rap and I fell in love with it. Like it was so sharp and witty and strange. I basically got made redundant from this job that I was working at, and I think I got like a $2,000 payout. And so I was like, sweet, that is my rent paid, my weed bought, and then we're gonna pay for the vinyl pressing. And so yeah, May 2011, released my first ever record, and was like, all right, life complete. I did it. I made a record that's gonna sit in record shops. It's badass. It's full of like political opinions and fat beats and strange sounds and a bit weird and trippy. And so I was, you know, like, all right, cool, I'm here, I'm done. We did loads of little shit gigs. But as the band, the record was coming out, and as that started to happen, me and Dave just completely fell out. and I would say probably hated each other at that point. I kind of got fed up with the slightly hedonistic, scenester element of music in Manchester. It's fair to say I probably had like a breakdown where there was a lot of like stressful personal stuff going on. And probably like 6 months earlier, I'd had a very, very deep sort of spiritual psychedelic experience. I had several revelations, but one of them was the main ones was that I just should keep making music no matter what. It sounds kind of stupid when you say it out loud, but like it seemed like the most profound thing. And so I've made music on my own, and I've made music in groups, and the music that I made in groups was fundamentally better and more fun. I think there's a philosophical notion at the centre of it, which is I don't think that anyone got anywhere on their own. And I think when people sit around in their little fucking ivory towers thinking about how special they are, playing to giant stadiums and, you know, whatever, thinking they're super cool, most of the music's generally dog shit. And I think that arrogance that you can do things on your own and that you're that special is misplaced. I like facilitating. I like the thing of helping people realise dreams. And actually I think there's like, not realise dreams, but there's a very funny thing in sort of saying to someone like, yo, do you want to be able to do that? All right, cool, let's do it. And then knowing how to do it. I'm not trying to be, I couldn't give a shit about being famous, frankly. I would like to have a bit of money so I'm not completely broke. But then actually just making the tunes. And now I'm living off the music for the first time ever. And it's just nice. It's just, I don't really want to be sending a beat to someone on the internet who I don't know to try and get a rep for an audience that I couldn't give a shit about. I'd much rather make an album with my good friends that we fucking love. Coming from a record collecting background, people's best work sometimes gets discovered long after they've gone. And it's only when you've abstracted from it that you're able to appreciate it. So probably in the modern era, people might not give a shit about the band. Like we've sold a couple thousand records, and yes, the Spotify thing is doing what it's doing. But we played a gig to like 6 people in Tunbridge Wells, and like maybe people don't give a shit. But I hope that in the future you'll be able to hear that we were doing it properly. Also, we have total creative control. I don't have anyone at any point outside the group telling me what to do. But as it stands, yeah, I still have the final say. Maybe I shouldn't do it. I don't know. So on top of being into or obsessed with music, as you would put it, I'm kind of got a sort of very enthusiastic interest in psychology and human mind and culture, and I think realistically it's not that economically viable or secure to be a musician in the way that we're doing. I've got this little 5-year plan, and I think at the end of the 5-year plan, if it's not financially viable for me to continuously do it as a career, I'm going to pivot away and potentially train to be a therapist. Even if the music is successful, I might go and do it anyway, just because I think a lot of musicians, if they do get success, they kind of blow smoke up their own arse. They're surrounded by yes men, and then they don't really make much good music. And I think the reason why I'm doing, or hopefully making some good music at the minute, is because I've still got like a very, very deep hunger, because I never managed to make it either in a commercially successful way or critically I'm very happy with it. I made a version of one of the songs on Grains, and it was so horrible and so paranoid. I'd spent over 150 hours working on it. I fucking hated it, so I deleted it. Like the more boring modern music production version of setting the canvas on fire, and I felt a great sense of control, because I was like, I don't want to make a track that is going to make people feel like shit. I don't really want to put a song out that is so paranoid that it would make you not want to listen to it anymore. It just seemed like a shit use of skill. And so yeah, I think that it really made me think about what the role is of an artist, and what if you're trying to be an artist, then obviously I feel a bit weird even saying that out loud, I'm an artist. But there is, I don't know, I think it matters the culture and the art that we make. I think some people just do it for a job, and frankly I fucking hate it. When people are just trying to churn out money and do repetitive boring shit in order to pay bills. I get it, people have to make money, but if you want to make money, go and be a fucking financial advisor or an actuary or a fucking drug dealer or whatever. And just, yeah, if you're gonna make art, be an artist. Don't be a cash chasing little prick, basically. And so yeah, so I'm trying to reflect my own weird experience as honestly as possible.
Something blessing you. Make some noise at El Congo. And then on the right we have the Schnitzel Whisperer, the Run Say Well. Yeah, come on. You stinky bastards. And then on my left with the beautiful orange hat, once again, house two people, make some fucking noise for house. I go by the name of Joseph. We have been moving 78. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make some noise for yourselves on Tight People. Thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. Shout out to all the Banana House staff for having us. Fucking much love. And that is that, I guess. Thank you.